Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Miss Netta's Can I Help? Today is definitely an exciting day. It has been a lovely day. I have had a chance to enjoy family and enjoy my time here in Memphis. I'm only here for a day, but I'm going to do it a little bit different today. I'll actually be introducing a special guest that I have. I'm going to give a few people a chance to come in. While you guys are coming in, I'm going to be sipping. Tonight is definitely going to be a very, very interesting topic. I'm in and out. You in and out. Yeah, in and out. In and out. So, wait no further. Here's my special guest. Man, a lot to tell you about this chick right here.
I'm Bunny.
I'm May May. That's the insider.
Yep.
That's definitely an insider. We have been through some things together. Um, I'm here in Memphis. Um, just kind of enjoying Bonnie's birthday and allowing my son to go to the studio so he can record and do some. Who tearing up something in there? Somebody tearing up something in there tonight. I think that's Bonnie, y'all. She in there tearing some things up. She really in there tearing some things up. Y'all heard it? She tearing some things up. But yes, Miss Netta, can I help? Yes, I am here tonight. And what I'm going to talk about tonight is my first failed marriage and how shortly after that failed marriage I went into the lifestyle. Now, the lifestyle was something that I needed at the time that I ventured off into it, based off really my past, you know, some things that happened in my past, some things that was going on that should not have been going on. If you watched my previous video, then of course you know that I did talk about how one of my ways of being, we're going to call it treated unfairly, was a young lady calling me in the room at the same time every night and having me go down on her. Okay, yeah. So that spiked some curiosity later on in my life. And it is what it is, you know. A lot of people have thought about it, have not done it, have contemplated on it, have had a desire, but afraid, ashamed. You know, I'm not going to say that that situation is right or wrong. I'm just going to say that you have to follow your heart. And whatever your heart leads you to do, then that's what you have to do. It's not for me or anyone else to judge any decision that you may or may not make in your life's journey. Simple as that, you know. Um, but just kind of going back a little bit to some things that went on as far as being a married woman. I got married at age 20. I want to say I was 20 or 21. I was between 20 and 22. I definitely know that. But exactly when I think I may have been 20. But that marriage was a lesson. I don't look at that as a failed marriage. I look at that as a lesson, a real lesson. Sis, where is the volume down. I'm just gonna change it. Okay. Yeah, so and just kind of starting the night off with my first marriage. When I met my first kid's daddy and my first three kids, they all have the same father. Okay. But they all have the same father, and their father, I'll say it like that, their father, I met him when I was about 15 years old, and we kind of hung out, kicked it. Clearly was doing stuff that young folks shouldn't be doing. Clearly was. And within that relationship, I learned a lot. I met him, like I said, when I was 15. So that was shortly after I had a lot of trauma in my life. That was shortly after I had taken over 200 pills, and I tried to commit suicide. So um, for me, growing up, after going through so many different things with so many different guys, for me, I decided, I guess, somewhere in my mind, that it was okay to start to cling to guys, to look to guys for comfort. And it's crazy how it changed so much. I literally went from not liking guys to clinging to guys, and later on not liking guys again. But that part is coming. So with that, I started to cling to guys, and my kid's father just so happened to be one of the guys that I would cling to. Is that mama? Is that her? Is that her?
Hey!
Hey, baby.
In the house. What party? Hey! You gonna party? Come on back in the house.
Yes. Hey, mama. Excuse me, y'all.
Hey, mama.
Hey, mama.
Hey, y'all playing like a shit.
Man. Man.
Here I come.
Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I began to, I would cling to guys, and I guess I began to feel like if you slept with me, you loved me. It was this, it was that. I I felt at the time began to fall for my first children's father, and funny how even when we first began, I was so aggressive with him. Was hadn't even began to start trying to heal my mom. I was broken. She turned up stuff again, y'all, but she finna cook some rotel. Y'all know Miss Netta love to eat. Love to eat. But yeah, so I got with him, hung out quite a bit, and got pregnant. And I can finally admit for me that when I got pregnant, it was intentional because I was in a place in my life where I needed someone to love me. There wasn't gonna um, leave, or I had to worry about if he cared or she cared. That was my purpose for having my first child. you know. And when I had my child, um, me and his father, it was a really rocky road. Because I hadn't healed. I won't even blame him for the things. Of course, he is not without fault, but he is not without fault. But I won't blame. Like I said, I take full responsibility for anything and everything that I was wrong for. I did. I had no knowledge of. I take full responsibility for that. And sometimes we have to do that. We seriously have to call it what it is and own it for exactly what it is. We have to do that. And that's hard sometimes, but we have to do it. So with him, I was still trying to find myself. I was still trying to find myself a whole lot. Now I can look back on it and realize just how much I was trying to find myself. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one. You know, we all have to go through some things, and that does not kill us. It always makes us stronger, you know? So, in that, we had 3 children within our time frame. My first 3 children, they're 2 years apart. And within that time frame of me and my kids' father was when I actually met my special guest. Now, growing up, like I said, I had certain morals and values that I was taught growing up. A lot I had to learn on my own and by bumping my head and making mistakes. But overall, um, in that time frame, I met a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, and that's the young lady. That's Bonnie. Uh, I was always the type of person that in a relationship with a guy, no matter how much I clung to him, no matter how much I wanted to be with him, and I say I wanted to be with him, not he wanted to be with me. But in the time that I wanted to be with him, uh, I was never the type that if the man was cheating, I was gonna get mad at the woman, especially if she wasn't my friend, she wasn't family. She knew absolutely positive nothing of who I was prior to whatever encounter that we have with what's going on. And so, me, always been Inspector Gadget, always been inquisitive, nosy, need to know. That's me. That's me. But I talked to her, and she had a good head on her shoulder. She didn't take it like, what you calling me for? It was none of that. She had sense, and we learned some things. And she grew to be one of the best friends that you can have. But I take it a little further than that. A sister. And with that, we learned a lot. We went through a lot. We experienced a lot. She's my daughter's godmother. We for real, we for real, we were women about the situation even when we were young, and we grew together. We grew together, and she was a really good friend. We've had ups and downs, mainly ups, rarely to none downs, but we've had some really good times. We've had some trying times. We've shed tears together. We've laughed together. As a matter of fact, Monique has been my friend, my sister, one of my confidants for about 23 years. 23 years. So, um, once she's done, she's going to come in and we'll be able to converse back and forth over some things. But Um, I met her when I was pregnant with my first child. And like I said, we've been friends ever since. I met my kid's father when I was 15. We He went to the military. That's when me and Monique got really, really close. We went to basketball games together, high school basketball games. Because, of course, I was still in high school, right? Or going, getting ready to drop out, basically, to go back and get my diploma. But it was around that time, you know? So, I went through that marriage. It was what it was. It didn't work out. We were married for 1 year and we separated for several years. And I kind of got out of that separation and went into another marriage. But that is another conversation as well. But shortly after that marriage, um, these feelings of a woman began to come into play. And here again, funny, one of the first people that I confided in about that feeling was Monique. And when I confided in her, she confided some things in me too. You know, she opened up. And although me and Monique have never, ever, ever, ever been together, we've always been open and the coolest with one another, you know? The way that I first began to try to find out, wanting to know, curious about the lifestyle was me and her began to get on chat lines. I know for some of the old schools, you remember the chat lines. Yeah, we began to get on the chat lines. And we began to kind of meet people, uh, women, and start venturing off, getting interested in the lifestyle. I met some elder women on the front end, and it was it was different, you know. It was really, really, really different. Um, I didn't have a bad experience. I didn't have a bad time, so to speak, in the lifestyle. I don't judge one way or another for what your decision is, who you choose to lay down with. It just wasn't for me. There were some things that I needed to get out. There were some things that I was going through. But the love that I felt for the women that I was in relationships with and dealt with, that was real. Um, People often question why do women tend to turn to other women and so forth and so on. I can't speak for anyone else. Number one, for me, it was a lifestyle that was adopted into my life when I was a little girl. So when I got older, I pretty much had to live that thing that I chose to put in the back of my mind. I had to live that to get that out of my system. Now, don't get me wrong, when I was in it, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't a lesbian. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't gay, and I did not mix the two. I was with a woman, nothing but a woman, for 4 years. Not the same woman, but with a woman. I was in 3 relationships within that time span. It was, well, I think it was maybe a little bit over 4 years, but it was 3 women within that time span, and all of them were really good women. It was just that that lifestyle wasn't for me. My first relationship was an elder lady. I, in my time when I was inquisitive and kind of learning that side of life, um, For me, I was fortunate to get some people that taught me some things. For my first girlfriend, she was a older woman because I was in my 20s and she was in her 40s. The most awkward thing about that relationship was realizing that I had gone to school with some of her children. Yeah, yeah. That there, that was a hard pill to swallow, you know. But my family wasn't supportive, so to speak, but they weren't objective to the situation either. They loved me no matter what. I had, like I said, my first girlfriend, she taught me a lot of things about being a woman, a lot of things about being a woman, and that I will cherish for the rest of my life. R.I.P. Because she has gone on to be with God, but she taught me a lot. She taught me a whole lot. For my second girlfriend, yeah, um, I was crazy about that girl. I was so crazy about her. But she taught me a lot. She understood a lot. It just wasn't the time for that, and for that, it just wasn't, that wasn't my destiny. That wasn't my path. That wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. Um, it takes nothing away from who she was because she was a beautiful, beautiful person. She taught me loyalty.
Well,
She taught me how to be there for your family no matter what. She taught me how to push through hard times as far as making something out of nothing and truly making it work. And for that, thank you. Thank you. I'll always respect you for that. I had gay families. Had gay families. My first family, it was a good family. But my second family was a good family as well. And I kind of got off into my second family because that's what my girlfriend at the time was. She was definitely in a really good family. So I didn't want to be in one family and she in another. So I wanted to be in that family, and they took me in. And for those that don't understand what gay families is, it really is an organized community that comes together and represents really, really good things. It's nothing bad. It's good things. Um, I think the biggest error in the gay life is that, you know, back in our day, we lived so hard to be gay, excuse me, and lesbians instead of lived, and let that just be that a lifestyle. But you're not at every club opening. You're not in every show. You're not um, living to living to be gay. You're just living your life the same as a man and a woman does. And that was the problem in that era, or the problem that I see in the gay life. But that's just my opinion. You have to still live your everyday life. It doesn't matter who you lay down with. You are still your own you. And that's the biggest thing I see as far as women. I'm not objective to the women being with the women. Hey, you do your thing. I'm not your judge. I've lived it. It was good to me, but it wasn't for me. You understand what I'm saying? That wasn't a lifestyle for me. That was just something that I had to get out of my system based off of something that I was introduced to at an early age, you know? And like I said, my second girlfriend, that was a good thing. My third one, another older lady, and really sweet, really down to earth, really straightforward. really personal. Super cool. Super cool. Super cool. You know, so that life, it wasn't necessarily bad to me at all. It wasn't a life that I wanted to live. I am definitely a strong Christian believer, and I do believe that it is for man and woman, not woman and woman, but I don't judge women. I've got some really super cool gay friends still. That's just, and they respect that that's not my life, you know. Um, I can still laugh and trip and acknowledge a beautiful woman and even flirt from time to time, but it's harmless. I don't really want to do anything, you know. I just recognize the same thing, same way you flirt and trip and ha ha and hee hee with guy friends, you know. Just for real, honest to goodness, um, friends, mingling, having fun, enjoying life, not being offset. Where you at, Mo? Not being offset. So, um, it that lifestyle, it, like I said, it wasn't bad to me. And I still respect lesbians and gay guys to the fullest. I don't care who you choose to lay down with. I don't care what your choice in life is. If it's not hurting me and it's not hurting you, then it is what it is. If people wouldn't judge others so much, if people would just take time out to sweep around their own front door and for real engage in what they have going on and fix what they got going on, then the world would definitely be a better place. So for anyone, young, old, it doesn't matter, that feels that that is a road that you want to take, hey, what Miss Netta says is that that's between you and God. It don't care. It don't matter what other people got to say. That's between you and God. You and God. Because that's the only one that has a heaven or a hell to put you in. It's about what he thinks. You know, my faith, like I said, for the most part, has been Church of God in Christ. So I thank God that He allowed me to get those things out of my system. You know, I thank God that He allowed me to experience those things and even have some good people in my life with those things. Not bad things. I remember when I was getting ready to get out of the situation. I was pretty much ending the situation because you have the realization that this just isn't for you. You know, it didn't work out. This wasn't it. Um, and I remember when, you confide in people. I confided in some people, and something bad happened. I got jumped in that lifestyle. I truly got jumped because um, it was a thought that I set this lady up to be robbed. Now, I've never been one to play those type of games. I've never been one to even indulge in those type of things. But people don't know you for real. People don't understand, and when you're living a life of things that aren't right, I guess everybody is a suspect. But I was jumped, and thank God I wasn't hurt. And I made a choice not to push or pursue that situation for anything bad to that young lady to come. I didn't want that, but instead I prayed for her. My mom prayed for her, and that's the best thing that you can do for people in the world. You give it to God and you let Him handle it. Everything always reverts right back to giving it to God and let Him handle it. Let Him take control of it. It's just, you know, We have to, for real, trust Him no matter what. We have to, for real, um, give Him all His praise. We have to know that everything that He puts us through is only for us to be better, only for us to grow, only for us to be elevated to the next level of what He is wanting to take us through, what He is wanting to be in our life. You see, tonight I represented my life, the gay lifestyle. I play so much. But yeah, seriously, you guys, that is pretty much what my life was about in the lifestyle. It wasn't anything that was bad for me, but there are some people that are happy in their life. And to those, I say congratulations, and definitely always keep God first no matter what. No matter what, just keep God first and know that you get no judgment from me. Um, I enjoyed that life and when I was in it. But I did pray to God to fix me, to pull me out. And He did just that. Because at the end of the day, if you ask me what my choice is, it's a man. It's truly, truly a man. But I know some people that have some beautiful love as women. Yes, Miss Netta has experience being with women. Yes, Miss Netta love her some men, you know. Love her man, you know. Love, love a man. But I did venture off into that life. And I thank God even for that because it was a lesson. It was definitely a lesson that I had to learn. It was some things that I had to get out of my system, and he allowed me to do just that. Mo is in there cooking and getting ready for this party time tonight. So um, she ain't came back around that corner. I think she high, y'all. I really think she high. Let's go see.
A cigarette. You told.
Nope.
God, you talking long time.
Nope. I'm on break. Hey, cutie pie. Hey, cutie pie.
Get TT in the house.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
But yeah, so it wasn't it wasn't a bad situation. It wasn't a bad anything. It was a lifestyle for a period of time in my life. And when God said it was time, that's enough, that's when it was enough, you know? Um, I have really, 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 really enjoyed telling you guys about my lifestyle in that life. The failed marriage, that was just, like I said, a lesson learned. We all go through some things, right? That was just my lesson. Now, there's definitely a book coming out that would go for real into deep detail about the failed marriage, about the the lesbian lifestyle. There's definitely going to be, and it's going to be raw, uncut, and it's going to be very detailed. It will take forever to tell you guys about the different experiences. Now, when you trust God in everything that you do, no matter if you're making a good choice or a bad choice, and allow Him to take your heart and put it into His and heal you, then there's nothing that you can't accomplish. There's nothing that you can't get through. It's Miss Netta here in Memphis, Tennessee. Wanted to tell you about the lifestyle. It's amazing that I am here in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, and sitting here with my god sister, who um, was definitely one of the first people that I confided in about these thoughts. What I did forget to tell you guys before I go, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story with my very first girlfriend and when mom found out, right? So we were at the mall and I needed the rest of some money for something. So I called her and asked her to bring it to me. So she was like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, my mama with me." And she like, "It don't matter. I'm gonna bring it to you, you know." So hey, when she got there, mama was just looking for this, guy to pull up or this guy to walk in that I was seeing that was bringing it, and then she saw her. And that was kind of my opening to telling my mama what was going on. And I introduced her and said, "That's not just my friend, that's my girlfriend." My mom had to go sit down at one of the benches in the mall. And when she sat down at one of the benches and she got back up, she said, "I don't condone it, but if you happy, I'm happy for you." They later on became some really, really good friends, but it took a lot for her to really understand it. Once she got past the era of feeling like this woman was the reason that I was like that, I think it changed the game a little bit. But she wasn't the reason that I was like that. That was something that was in me that had to come out based off of something that had happened to me in my past. So I just wanted to share with you guys my lifestyle. Yes, I did. But all day, every day, it's a man, not a woman. But I did have an episode in that life. And yes, it is true that if you've been there, that does not mean that you can't come back because you can. I'm a living witness. And I know a lot of people that have gone over to that lifestyle and came back. But for me, it was 4.5 years. And after that, that was that. That was completely that. I went back to a man. And that's pretty much how it's been ever since. A man. But it's Miss Netta getting ready to end for the night. Wanted to tell you guys, like I always say, the rest of my life is the best of my life, and the past of my life, I'm going to always share with you guys. Have a blessed and wonderful night. It's time for me to get ready to go out and shake a little bit of a tail feather with my sister that never came back to the camera. I think she had, y'all. She had. But have a blessed night.